Hey again. Okay, we are ready for chapter 13 of Out of My Mind. I hope you enjoyed chapter 12. And let's see what else happens here. So, hopefully, you've made some good connections, and hopefully, we can get through the end of this book by the end of the quarter. By the way, hopefully, you're reading. We only have a few like a week, maybe it's like 8 days left for our genre requirements, so continue to read at night and during class as well if you have time. All right, chapter 13. Penny, Nunu, Miss V calls out. Dragging Doodle behind her, Penny has scooted out of Mrs. V's front door and is halfway down the ramp from her porch shouting, "Bye-bye!" from under her green baseball cap. Butterscotch, at home in her backyard, would be having a doggy fit if she could see Penny trying to bolt. It's one of those early November days that an artist would love. Red bronze leaves, bright gold sunlight, leftover summer. I don't blame Penny for trying to bolt. Mrs. V scoops her up and brings her back into the house. "Go and work," Penny pouts. "Not today, honey buns," Mrs. V says firmly as she locks the front door. Penny loves wearing hats and playing dress-up. Mom rarely buys fancy church lady hats for herself, but mostly just for Penny. She'll sometimes pick out a crazy-looking straw hat with bows and ribbons and bring it home. At home, Penny spends a crazy amount of time in front of all the hallway mirrors with a couple of Mom's plastic necklaces hanging down almost to her shoes, a purse on each arm, and a hat tilted sideways on her head. "Gotta go work," she'd say, with one hand on her hip. "Who has she ever seen dressed like that, going to work?" Mom would ask as we all cracked up. "She's only 2. I'm not going to be able to afford the kid when she's old enough to go shopping on her own," Dad always said. He snaps every cute pose she makes with his cell phone camera. When Mrs. V sets Penny back down, Penny pokes her lips out, throws Doodle on the floor, and wraps both of her arms around her chest, and I laugh. I wish I had enough coordination to have attitude. "Here, Penny, why don't you just sit down and draw me a picture instead?" Mrs. V says, whipping out a box of crayons. Attitude forgotten, Penny grabs a handful of the crayons and promptly begins to scribble all over the coloring book, as well as Mrs. V's table. "I wish I could use crayons. I'd draw a rose with a velvety red bloom and a green stem and yellow-green leaves coming from it. I can see it so clearly in my mind. But of course, when I put a pencil or a crayon in my stupid tight little fingers, all I can manage to do are squiggly lines. Nothing that looks even close to a rose. I want to draw it for Rose. She has rose designs on her notebooks and her book bag. I don't know where her mom finds such cool stuff. Rose's name really fits her. She's pretty, she's delicate, and she's really nice to be around. If she has thorns like real roses do, I've never noticed." While Penny is busy with her crayons, Mrs. V checks her mail. She opens several envelopes and then gasps with surprise. "Guess what, girls?" she exclaims. "I've won a contest!" I look at her with interest. Penny continues to scribble, ignoring both of us. "I entered an essay contest at the bookstore. It was in the mall," she explains to me. The topic was why fish are important of our world of ecology. I point to my food on my board and smirk. "No, silly," she reaches over and tickles me. "I wrote something about oceans and the balance of nature. I don't honestly remember what it said, but I won first prize, a trip for 6 to the new downtown aquarium, all expenses paid. Stupendous!" Okay, pause right there. What does stupendous mean? First question. Okay, how many of you said it means stupid? That's probably the first thing most people think, but actually stupendous means great, it means awesome, it means incredible. It's a really fun word to use, and it's also a very fun word to use on parents because they think you're saying stupid, but you're really saying stupendous. I also wanted to ask you another question. How many of you, especially girls, or maybe if you're a brother and you have sisters in the house, how many of you have ever seen little girls dress up in their mom's hats and all the pearly beads and all of the dress-up stuff? Can you make a connection to that? Tell somebody sitting next to you about a connection you have to that. I've seen the commercials on television for the aquarium. It's supposed to have sharks and turtles and penguins and a million other sea animals. Go? I ask, by pointing on my board. Well, besides me, I don't know who else I'd take, she says, scratching her head and grinning. I kick my foot strap loose. Me, I want to scream. Instead, I point to myself. Who could I take? Mrs. V teases, looking around the kitchen. I can tell she's trying hard not to laugh. Me, I jab. Well, of course I'll take you, Mellow Yellow, Mrs. V says, smiling. Just think of all those new words we'll gather. I'm going to write down the names of every single fish that you learn. I slap my head, pretending to be upset. So, if I take you and Penny, your mom and your dad, and me, that's 5. I wonder who else we would take. She scrunches up her face, thinking. Okay, make a prediction. Who do you think Melody is going to want to take? Tell someone. I know immediately. Rose could go with us. I spell out her name. R-O-S-E. And again, R-O-S-E. And then please, I hit. Your friend Rose from school? I buck and kick with excitement. I think that's a great idea, Melody. I'll ask your parents and her parents, and if she's willing, we'll have a wonderful day. I can't stop kicking my feet. It takes several weeks before both Mom and Dad are off work on a Saturday, but Thanksgiving weekend ends up working out for everybody. I have trouble sleeping the night before. Rose's parents seem really nice, from what I could tell from listening to Mom's end of the conversation. I couldn't believe Rose wanted to come. She wanted to come with me, the kid in the chair? Awesome. At school, Rose whispered with me about the trip, just like I'd seen other kids do when they have secrets. It felt like I was a real girl. Now that the Saturday is finally here, we all pile into our SUV early in the morning. Even though the weather has turned pretty chilly, I made sure Mom put a really nice outfit on me. Cute jeans, no sweats. Rose hadn't said anything about what I'm wearing, but she keeps cooing over Penny. Your sister's adorable, Melody, Rose says. I smile and nod. Okay, stop right there. What do you think is happening? What is Melody thinking right now when Rose is oohing and eyeing over her sister, Penny? Tell someone what you're thinking. Penny reaches out her chubby little hands and claps. Wozy, Wozy! I think she said my name, Rose exclaims. Your sister's not only cute, but she's a genius! As we drive, Rose chatters with my parents and Mrs. V like she's known them her whole life. I watch it all silently, thinking this has got to be the best day of my life. When we get to the aquarium, Dad unloads my chair and he eases me into it while Mom gets Penny's stroller out and straps her in. Rose pushes Penny as Mom pushes me so we can walk side by side. The place is crowded. I guess because it's a holiday weekend, nobody pays any attention to me, which is perfect. I can almost forget who I am. Inside, fish tanks go from floor until ceiling. I think of Ollie. He might have been happier here. In one tank, sharks swim overhead, just like we're actually looking up from the ocean floor. Okay, so Ollie might not have been so happy in that particular tank. I hope you're able to visualize these tanks and visualize the fish and see the sharks. Got your mental imagery going. I've never seen so many fish from all over the world, it seems. Fish with spikes, fish with spots, fish with markings so beautiful they look painted on. Penny slaps at the glass whenever a fish comes close. Fishies, fishies, more fishies! Mrs. V, as promised, writes down the names of species and takes pictures so I can remember when we get back home. Mom and Dad whisper together like teenagers. I've never seen them so relaxed before. We stop in front of every tank. I love the jellyfish, which remind me of streams of shiny cloth, and the lionfish, which really do look a little like swimming lions. At the seahorse tank, Rose observes that their heads point backwards. She seems to be having a great time too. Then from around the corner come the two people I'd least want to run into. Who are they, guys? You got it, Molly and Claire. They are with a Girl Scout troop or something. They fake bumping into each other, not paying much attention to their group leader, who is telling them about the percentage of salt found in ocean water. Molly and Claire dress exactly alike in jeans and long-sleeve t-shirts and scout vests look at Rose with surprise. "Oh, hey Rose, you here with your mom?" Claire asks. No," Rose says evasively, walking away from us and toward them. "Your dad?" Molly says, looking at me like I smell bad, and she's acting like my parents are invisible. "I'm here with Melody and her family," Rose mumbles. "On purpose?" Claire shrieks. Both she and Molly start laughing loudly. "It's not so bad," Rose says quietly, but I heard her. Mom starts to say something to the girls, but Dad takes her arm. "They're children," he tells her. "Let them work it out themselves." Mom has those daggers in her eyes, the sharp points she shoots at people who say dumb things about me, but she stays quiet. Her fists are balling, but she stays quiet. However, Mrs. V isn't going to let anybody stop her. From her almost 6-foot height, she towers over Molly and Claire. "You, girl with the braces on her teeth!" Claire looks up at her, stunned. "Yes, ma'am," Claire has sense enough to say. "Why do you think your parents spend good money getting you braces?" "Huh?" Claire looks confused. Molly has quietly disappeared into her scout troop. "Your teeth were imperfect, so your parents got you braces. One day you'll thank them when you get a date for the prom," Mrs. V roars. The whole scout troop, plus a few others, are listening in to what Miss V has to say. "What do my teeth have to do with anything?" Claire asks, looking around nervously. "Some people got braces on their teeth, some get braces on their legs. For others, braces won't work, so they need wheelchairs and walkers and such. You're a lucky girl that you only had messed up teeth. Remember that, young lady." "You go, Miss V." "Yes, ma'am," Claire says again. Then she scurries off to join her friends. Rose walks back to us then, a little embarrassed, I think. "Claire can be clueless," she whispers to me. "You think?" After a few more tanks, Penny gets tired and starts to whine, so we leave the aquarium before we even get to see the penguins. We take Rose home, and she thanks us properly and says she had a real good time. But did she? Okay, right now I want you to talk to somebody about a few things. First thing, what did you think about what Miss V said to Claire? I really liked how she used braces to talk about some things that were different that she was able to fix. And now I want you to also talk to each other about, did Rose really have a good time or not? Was she just faking it? Now is she embarrassed? Is she going to be embarrassed when she goes back to school and actually sees them? What's going to happen? Okay, until tomorrow, have an awesome rest of your day. Keep reading.